Alright guys, Manchester United have just beaten Reading by 3 goals to 1 to make it through to the fifth round of the FA Cup. And it was a game which I think United on another day put to bed a lot earlier on. Obviously it was 0-0 at half time and United pretty much dominated the entire game. In fact, the only period of the game where Reading looked like, causing any sort of threat was actually just after Andy Carroll had been sent off and Casemiro had been subbed off. I think that says a lot about the importance of Casemiro to this Man United team. In that was the only time Reading looked dangerous. There was a moment towards the end of the first half as well, but other than that, it was pretty much nitto. United, it was just domination. Like the entire game was played in Reading's half pretty much, and they were causing problems just all throughout the game. Reading sat back, with five at the back, and they defended quite well, to be fair, considering the amount of pressure they were under. United thought they'd taken the lead half an hour in when Rashford headed the ball home. But earlier on in the move, Weghorst was marginally offside, and yeah, it is the correct decision, unfortunately, for Rashford. It did mean in the end that he didn't, have like the incredible achievement of scoring in 10 consecutive home matches, which would have been like a stat to, remember, because I can't think of many players or ever hearing a stat like that before. That would have been, something to remember 100%. And yeah, United, most of the play was coming down the right hand side. Anthony was phenomenal this game. It's the best game I've seen him have in a Man United shirt so far. And his form, by the way, Anthony, is getting better and better. He started off the season, I feel as though, not playing great, but he was getting on the score sheet. His goal scoring numbers were looking quite good, but I didn't feel as though he was having a great time on the pitch. And ever since the World Cup, and just before the World Cup, I should mention that Ten Hag did drop him because he felt as though, I don't know, he was taking the showboating a little bit too far at times. But since the World Cup, Anthony, and also I think he had an injury in that time as well. Since the World Cup, he's really impressed me. He's just got better and better game by game, I think. And he's definitely showing, reasons why Man United did pay so much for him. I don't think he's fully justified the price tag just yet, but he's starting to show that he is a good player. And on another night tonight, he would, like one of those shots that he had in the first half, he had about 3 or 4 which came close. On another night, one of them bends into the top corner, and we're talking about him as the man of the match in this game. He did have a truly brilliant game in this game tonight. And as I say, a lot of United's play, especially in the first half, did come down that right hand side. Aaron Wan-Bissaka was another player I thought had a brilliant game. But the second half, Reading, they came out second half and they weren't doing too badly. They weren't causing many goal scoring opportunities, but there were 1 or 2 moments when they were getting forward, and it needed someone to step up. Anthony played a brilliant ball through to Casemiro, and Casemiro finished it like a season 30 goal a year striker. It was a brilliant finish. Wait for the keeper to sit down before just calmly flicking the ball over him. And again, a few minutes later, Fred unexpectedly passes him the ball from 35 yards, God knows what distance it was. And first time, without barely thinking, just whips it into the far bottom corner. It does take a small deflection off of McIntyre, I think it was. But it was still a great strike nonetheless. And in the end, those 2 goals were enough to win Man United the game. Then we had Andy Carroll sending off, obviously. And Andy Carroll is a player to me who has brilliant ability. Definitely didn't make the most of what could have been a brilliant career. But the problems with him are, from an outsider looking in, it just seems as though his mentality has never really been there. He can go on a run of games like he did in late 2010 with Newcastle, or I think early 2016 with West Ham. He also had a couple of good spells at Liverpool. He has been on good runs of form before, but I feel as though that has been what has, sort of carried his career in the end, because there's been not enough of those times, and it's just been far too inconsistent, and it's just been flashes in the pan really throughout his career. And yeah, as I say, the mentality, I think what he gets up to off the pitch is caused him problems with his fitness, injuries, and moments on the pitch of hot-headedness, like tonight. He was on a yellow and he just threw himself into a tackle. He was never going to win the ball and got himself sent off. So yeah, it is a bit of a shame really. And yeah, after that, Casemiro got subbed off, and then Reading with 10 men started to get forward a bit more, and they looked like creating a couple of chances. United did manage to get a third goal through Fred. It was a really good finish. Bruno Fernandes whips it in front post, and Fred, it's not the sort of thing you expect Fred to do. Flicks it and gets it past Lumley just about to make it 3-0. Reading did manage to pull one back with 15-20 minutes to go. It was actually, the one small thing that tainted this Man United performance, the defending on that one corner, because they leave the man free, and he sticks it in the back of the net. And yeah, it was just poor marking from Man United, and yeah, a clean sheet 3-0 win would have been superb, but in the end it ended up 3-1. So yeah, not great on Man United's behalf, that the defending of the corner. And then United just chucked the kits on from there on in. They brought on Garnacho, Pellistri, Kobe Mainu, and yeah, it's good to give them experience when there's little risk, and getting first team experience is never going to be a bad thing for young players. And under Erik ten Hag, it looks like that is going to be a big aim of his, to make youth development more effective, because United over the past decade or so, it feels as though they've always had youngsters come through and they have their moments in the first team, but it's not long before they're moved on, because they put under too much pressure. Effectively, they're thrown straight into the starting 11 almost. I can think of loads of players that this has happened to in recent years, under Van Gaal especially. Players like Paddy McNair, Donald Love, Cameron Borthwick-Jackson, Tahith Chong, Angel Gomez. There's been loads over the past 10 years. And it feels to me as though Erik ten Hag's not going to throw them straight in. He's going to, give them chances when he feels it's the right time, which is brilliant management. And I really like Erik ten Hag. I'm a big fan of his. I think he's doing a splendid job at United. But yeah, we'll get into player ratings. Start from Man United. David Hayer have given a 6. Let's be honest, he had bugger all to do this game. He picked the ball out of his net once. Other than that, didn't really do a lot. Wan-Bissaka have given a 7. I thought Wan-Bissaka had a really good game, and the thing that really impressed me about this performance, he did what he usually does well, quite well. Did that make sense? Not sure, we'll go with it. As in winning the ball back off opponents, but also tonight he looked good on the ball, which is something that has been a criticism of Wan-Bissaka ever since his move from Crystal Palace 3-4 years ago. So that's a really positive thing. If that's what he's been working on, that's what he needed to be working on. So yeah, the rest of the defence, Maguire, Lindelof and Malacia, I've given 6s. They weren't tasked with a lot, to be honest. The marking on the corner wasn't great, which I mean, maybe you can point the finger at the two leaders of the defence in Maguire and Lindelof. But other than that, their main job was just, spread the ball, keep possession, maintain control of the game. Then my man of the match I've given to Casemiro. It was a toss-up between two players for me, but I've given it to Casemiro because United, they were going through a little period at the start of the second half where they were struggling to get momentum after a good first half, but then continued that into the second half. And, it needed someone to take the ball by the horn, and Casemiro did that by scoring two really well-taken goals. In fact, really well-taken is a bit of a understatement. They were really good goals. Eriksen I've given a 7. Again, good performance in midfield. It was just a dominant display, really. So, yeah, I think he deserves a 7 as well. Anthony I've given an 8. He was my other contender for man of the match. He had a brilliant game. All that was really missing from it was a goal. He did a really good pass to set up Casemiro for the first goal. And yeah, just an all-round brilliant performance from him. Bruno Fernandes have given a 7. It was a good ball to set up Fred's third and United's final goal. Really good performance once again. And then Rashford and Weghorst have given 6s because they were quite quiet in this game. They weren't overly involved. I felt a lot of the play from Man United came down the right-hand side, especially in the first half, and in the second half, by that time, Rashford had been subbed off for Garnacho. So Rashford, other than his offside goal, wasn't overly involved in this game, and nor was Weghorst either. To be honest, he had his moments in the first half, but it was just one of them where the play's not happening near you, so there's not a lot you can really do sometimes, especially when your team is dominating the game. So yeah, it was just one of them really. Fred, who came on with about half an hour to go, had a brilliant cameo and set up Casemiro second. It was one of those assists where it was like, I'll claim the assist. It wasn't a great deal of inventivity, if that is a word, inventiveness. I'm not sure which is the correct term, but I'm sure he'll take the assist, and it was a really well taken goal once again for his goal. So yeah, I think a 7 is very well merited. And then on to Reading. Lumley have given a 6. I don't think there was too much he could do about any of the goals. The first one, he's got to go for it. You can't stop a chip. You've got to focus on getting to the player's feet who's coming towards you. The second one, it's a long distance one, so maybe you could argue he could have moved his feet a bit quicker and got in position better, but the deflection, I feel as though, takes that away from him, so I think I can let him off with that one. Maybe the third one, but again, it's very close range, and it's a flick as well from Fred. It's an unexpected move, so again, there's not really a lot I can pick at really, and he did make a few good saves throughout the game as well, so I think a 6 is fair. Hoylett at right wing back, I've given a 6. Well, I say right wing back, he was more playing right back. It was more like full backs rather than wing backs with a 5 at the back. So yeah, I've given Hoylett a 6. I thought he made sure not a lot was happening from down the left for United, especially in the first half. Yadam I've given a 5. Not a great defensive performance, but wasn't horrendous. Holmes have given a 6. Got in the way of a lot of things, especially in the first half. Saw a lot of the ball, made quite a few clearances and blocks. And then Reading's best player I thought was McIntyre, who I've given a 7. Similar to Holmes, I thought he was getting in the way of a lot of stuff, and yeah, I just thought he looked decent on the ball as well at times. Baba Rahman I've given a 5. I'll tell you what, I haven't heard this guy for like 7 years, it feels like. I remember when Chelsea signed him in 2015, I think. I can't remember him getting many chances at Chelsea. I don't even know if he's still a Chelsea player. It wouldn't surprise me if he is. If it might just be a case of he's been on that many loan moves. He must be, he's nearing his late 20s by now, though. I didn't think it was an especially great performance. So yeah, I've given him a 5. Midfield, I've given Ince and Loom 6s. I thought they both defended very well, and Ince looked like the one Reading player who might cause a few problems when he was going forward. So yeah, I've given him a 6. Hendrick I've given a 5. I'll be honest, I didn't even notice he was playing at times. So yeah, not great for a midfielder. Andy Carroll, I've given a 4. I didn't think he was that bad in the first half. He held the ball up a couple of times quite well. But the moments of stupidity when you're on a yellow card, rush of blood to the head, that I can't give him any more than a 4 really. And finally, Zhao up front, I've given a 5. Again, another player who was barely involved when he was on the pitch. So yeah, I can't give him much more than that really. But yeah, it was a really good performance from Man United in the end. Reading, they just tried to hold on to whatever they could. They got their goal in the second half from the substitute. I forget his name, I'm really sorry about that. But yeah, a good performance from Man United, and they're through to the next round. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.